Welcome back to Around the Table with Stacy Smith. We've been talking about the national political scene. We're going to continue that, but make it regional at this point. By this time next year, West Virginia will have elected a new United States Senator. That's because, of course, Joe Manchin has decided not to run for re-election. So, Joe Mystic, what does Manchin's decision mean for the Senate race here in Pennsylvania? Does it focus more on that now?
Well, I don't think that what happens in West Virginia is going to have much to do with what happens here in Pennsylvania. They're clearly a red state, and we are a deeply purple state. So will there be more attention here because we're competitive? Absolutely. And there'll be a lot more money dumped into the economy as well.
I would agree with Joe. If you take a look at the results of this year's election, this state's gone more purple than it was. If you look at the judicial races, the Democrats won all the judicial races. I was reading an article written by the Commonwealth Foundation regarding the amount of outside money that came into the Democratic side of the equation for those judicial races. That's going to happen again next year. Senator Casey is a three-term incumbent now. Very difficult, not impossible, very difficult for the Republican to win.
The coordinated campaign of the state Democratic Party is beginning to gear up for 2024. In the last 2 years, under Chairman Sharif Street, who's been doing the 67 county strategy that we used to do, he's recognized and the party's recognized historic statewide success. We flipped the House last year when we were only hoping to come close. This year, the party swept all 4 judicial races. That hadn't been done since we did it in 2015. So the statewide map, I would submit, yes, it's a purple state, but we've had some very good successes in the last couple of cycles. And you're going to build on that, and we're going to build on that as we move into 2024. We had a great model that we worked with successfully in 2012 when we had a similar dynamic, president, U.S. senator, 3 statewides. We swept everything. And that dynamic will be put in play again next year. So I don't think that they're 2 separate universes, West Virginia and the state of Pennsylvania. And although it was a purple county for the chief executive race here in Allegheny County 2 weeks ago, that was indigenous to the candidates and the facts and the issues on the ground here in Allegheny County. It's a whole separate playbook statewide. The issues will be different. And the issue of a woman's right to choose, as we saw, I believe, significantly contributed to the statewide judicial sweep. You'll see that dynamic and that issue come again next year in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the Manchin retirement is more of a national issue than it is a Pennsylvania issue. I would agree with my three colleagues. It just further complicates the situation for the Democrats, who are really faced now with an evenly divided Senate, because you take the Manchin going red, it's 50-50. And now you have to hold on to a 50-50 Senate. And that is increasingly difficult because there are 33 seats up next year and only 10 incumbents are Republicans. So there are 23 that have to be defended to keep that 50. So I would suggest, though, based on where we're heading with David McCormick and the 3-term incumbent, Mr. Casey, I'm not sure that we're even going to be a target when it's all said and done. I'd like to believe that Pennsylvania is a purple state, but in recent elections, it's looking bluer and bluer. So I'm not sure if smart money is even going to be spent on that campaign as it gets closer to next November.
All right. I find that kind of interesting. Common sense would make you believe that, because of, just as you said, Keith, that if the Democrats are in danger of no longer holding the Senate, because, as you say, 33 seats are up for grabs, 23 of those are Democrats. I don't know if that included the Manchin seat or not, but I think all of us can agree that it probably is going to go red in West Virginia. I mean, it's going to be a Republican elected there. So now you've got 22 that you have to defend. I would think more money would be coming into Pennsylvania, but maybe you guys are right.
No, my argument is going to be the polling is going to indicate that McCormick isn't that close. I really think the trends that exist right now are going to make it a very difficult cycle for Mr. McCormick, who was unable to even get out of a primary with $50 million a couple of years ago. I'm not so sure he's going to be that competitive if indeed he is our nominee.
The money will be spent, but like Keith said, I think it is an incredible uphill climb. And I do agree, Keith. I do think we're trending more blue in the last couple of cycles for a variety of reasons. But you're going to have an invigorated party who's really motivated over the last 2 November cycles, building on that momentum with a ground game in 67 counties that has now been tested and battle tested successfully over the last 2 cycles. It's going to be up. Oh, they're going to come and spend, but it's going to be a tough road.
I don't want to hog the time, but had we won Allegheny County, it could be different. But we didn't. We lost the executive race. That could have been the difference in a more competitive Senate race. But the fact that we lost it, I think, takes it off the competitive map.
Governor, your thoughts?
Very quickly, because we're talking about the ascendancy of the Democratic Party here now. Go back 30 years ago, it was there. Politics revolves around a pendulum. It goes left, it goes right, it keeps coming back. Who knows where we're going to be even 4 years from now, where we're going to be going through this process again.
Okay, well, we are now out of time, but since I think it's been the consensus here that nobody's going to catch Trump and that Casey is going to be reelected, so I'm going to go ahead and put a phone call to all the other candidates and say just drop out, because around the table, guys don't think you have a chance.
There are people who will not like you. They will hate you.
All right, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate all your thoughts and contributions to our program, and also want to thank you for joining us for Around the Table with Stacy Smith, and I hope that you join us again the next time. Thanks.